Great strides in AI, or artificial intelligence research, have been made in recent years. One of the largest questions within the community developing AI is, will AI ever gain consciousness? Phrased differently, the functionalist would ask, can AIs go through similar processes and have reactions similar to humans? Can they act convincingly human? With the extensive research being done on microexpressions, humanoid robots, and neural network computing, the seemingly logical answer to this question is yes. Artificial intelligence is capable of acting convincingly human. The question then becomes, is AI capable of conscious experience? Well, what is conscious experience? Is it being aware of one's own existence? The most accepted hypothesis on consciousness is the presence of qualia. Termed the absent qualia experiment, this test determines if a creature is conscious. Put simply, if the creature has qualia, that is, if the creature has experience, thoughts, and feelings, if it thinks and contemplates, then it is conscious. Sure enough, all awake, responding humans, most vertebrates, and some non-vertebrates follow this definition and are classifiable as conscious. However, one may question how to be sure if another has said experience. Potentially, with the correct technology and a complete neuroscience, one could inspect the thoughts and experiences of another as they occur, comparing the patterns of, in the case of humans, neural firings to that of one's own. If they are similar enough or identical, then the other person must also be conscious, for I know I am, and their brain follows the same, or similar, patterns that mine does. However, the nature of materialism poses an issue. A completed neuroscience would allow us to understand exactly what processes lead to mental states and eventual outputs, neglecting the presence of, or need for, consciousness to begin with. This is the essence of the epistemological problem. There is no way to be sure of any consciousness other than our own. Logically, only two more explanations exist. Either we deny the consciousness of anyone besides ourselves, or we broaden our definition of consciousness to only the need to act similarly enough to ourselves. What constitutes similarly enough is another issue altogether. The Turing Test is an embodiment of our new definition of consciousness. If an AI is capable of being convincingly human in every regard, then it is conscious. This definition is based on cultural, societal, and human norms. Consider a human, physically identical to us, that was raised in a culture drastically different than our own. Their culture is so different, in fact, that they are not imperceptibly human. They are instead the opposite, only human in body. If said human existed, we would be quick to deny their consciousness, or them ours. Yet we are sure of ours, and since their brain's general structure is identical to our own, they as well must have consciousness. Thus our definition is broadened once again. Now we include organisms with an identical general brain structure to our own. Returning to a reductive materialism of sorts, consciousness is now defined in part by our own brain structure and processes. Lastly, consider an AI or ET with different brain structures than our own. Under our definition, if it acts as we do, it must be conscious. What do we make of an AI or ET with a different brain structure than our own, and who behaves differently than us? We could extend the definition of consciousness to it, as we did for the atypical human, assuming that it has the same structure as an AI acting similar to us. In doing so, we also extend consciousness to all computers, unless an AI who does act like us is impossible on current physical computational structural standards, i.e., it is only possible on a different physical computing system altogether. I believe this to be unlikely, as current computers are already being used for the aforementioned microexpression research, humanoid robots, and neural network computing. If we choose not to grant the extension of consciousness, we are left with two options. Either deny the atypical, non-human acting AI or ET consciousness under our definition, or conclude consciousness is non-definable, since it does not meet our definition, yet it may still be conscious in its own right, something never provable, the epistemological problem, but recognizably very different from human consciousness.